What's up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome back to another episode of GSG Nation. The new and almost improved Spurs have finally closed out their 2023 season, and they actually closed that out in nice fashion. 2 wins back to back, one against the defending champions, and a blowout to close out the season on Fan Appreciation Night. We were in attendance for the Fan Appreciation Night against the Detroit Pistons, where, I don't remember the score, but I think we won by like 30 plus points almost. So what a great ending to the season, and one of our biggest wins all year for sure was the win against Denver. Incredible for being shorthanded, and Denver really playing for the number one spot. So, playing everybody that they have, and for us to upset them and spoil their seeding, so incredible for us Spurs fans. And that was actually one of the things that, I was looking forward to this season, because going into the season, I saw the roster. I truly didn't expect much. Like, I really didn't expect us to even make the play-in tournament. And to me, that was okay, because we got our generational talent. We got our number one pick. And, turns out not to be a bust. And what a great season he had, historic season. And so at the beginning of the year, that's really what I was mainly excited to see, was just a new Spurs team going into a new era. Also wanted to see us just ruin other people's schedule. That was really the most important thing. If we could just come out with some incredible wins, some incredible upsets, ruin people's seedings, ruin their records, that was going to be a big bonus for us Spurs fans coming into this year. So that's what I was looking forward to. And that's what we got. That's what we got to close out the season. And it just, for them to close out the season with back-to-back wins, incredible wins, was something that us Spurs fans, really needed after, going through this troubling season. Like, I think it was hard for us. Like, just imagine how hard it is for the players. Like, having to come out an 18-game losing streak. Like, it's pretty embarrassing and upsetting too. So, I know us Spurs fans, the whole organization, the players, like, absolutely were frustrated with the losing. And for us just to cap all that off, to end it with incredible wins and appreciation for the fans, was just something that I think the city of San Antonio and all San Antonio Spurs fans needed. And even the players needed it. So, but man, that Devontae Graham game winner, how incredible was that, guys? Like, how incredible was that for us? I mean, just to see the crowd be so into it, so loud, everybody on their feet, and for it to be a close game, like, wow, and a playoff atmosphere. Like, we didn't have that many games like that this season. I wasn't at that game. I was at the game against OKC when we beat them in February, and that had the same feeling, playoff atmosphere from the crowd and the fans. And it was just incredible to see that. And that really should give us hope for the future on what we're going to see and what we can expect from this team. Having Wemby alone, like, he alone is must-see TV. Like, people are gonna want to watch us. And, like, for us as Spurs fans, like, I mean, that's probably, your number one reason now why you're watching the Spurs, is because of Wemby and to see Wemby highlights, right? And once we lost, Keldon, Devin, Jeremy, like, once we lost those guys for the remainder of the season, and I think we Chetty, Malachi, we lost, like, that's 5 guys right there that we lost. So the season could have ended off much, much worse. We could have ended out getting blown out the rest of the games. But I'm just really proud of the team, because, they didn't get down on themselves. They didn't. Once everybody got injured and got out, they could have, hung their heads, but they didn't. Everybody came in. They came in focused. They were going to work hard. They weren't timid of the competition, and they weren't timid that, they weren't playing with their primary players on the team. And I'm just really proud that each game, like they came in focused, energized, ready to play ball to win. And oddly enough, we actually saw good basketball from the supporting cast in these last two games. Like we really did. Obviously, we had to play good basketball in order to beat Denver. Again, another bonus from that game was that we shot better than them. We didn't do that too often this season, and I actually expect us to shoot better going into next season, and I expect us to win more games just from that alone. And we could have won more games this year had we just shot the ball better. But I mean, it was almost. I mean, I haven't looked up any stats that have confirmed this, but I mean, it looked to be like a historical, terrible shooting season from the Spurs. I don't know if this was one of the worst shooting seasons we've had in a while. I'm pretty sure it was. From watching the games, I can kind of just confirm that with my eyes without looking at the stats. At least it felt that way, and I know a lot of Spurs fans feel the same way about that too. But we saw good basketball, and that is a good sign going into the offseason. And two, us Spurs fans out there on Spurs Twitter were wondering why, like how are these guys playing a little bit better without our stars, without our starters too. And there was a lot of good opinions thrown out there, and guys just having less pressure, not having to play up to the other guys maybe, which is what I think is the main contributing factor to them playing well. Also, too, them just being confident in their own game. Like, Devontae Graham and Mamu, those guys, they know they can play ball. They have high IQ basketball knowledge as well. And those guys, every time they come in confident when they get playing time. And I think that's, a second thing that helped them play well without the starters. And man, shout out to Mamu. Like that guy can really play. Not trying, like say, yeah, okay, let's start him. But I think, we might have found something. We may have found a really good future bench player. Like if he stays with the Spurs, long term, he's obviously gonna know, the Spurs system very well. And I can actually just seeing these past few games, him getting double doubles, like I can see this guy being a really good bench player for us in the future. And, honestly, like I could see him just for us in 3 to 5 years, like just coming off our bench as the 6th man, 7th man, and just destroying other people's benches because he's confident in himself. He actually can play. He has the skill set to do so. If we put him in the right position, we could take advantage of his size. But even if he's undersized on a matchup, like he's just so smart that he knows how to handle that situation. He just knows how to be in the right position at the right time, when the ball's bouncing off the rim. He's getting a lot of rebounds. He was getting a lot of rebounds. And I think, in these double doubles, I think he was getting more. I think he got double rebounds before he got double points. Obviously, except for the last game, he didn't get a double-double. But I think we have something here in Mamu. And, yeah, if we do keep him, I honestly would expect him to be a great bench player for us and just destroying other people's benches. Because, too, like right now with him and Devontae Graham, like those guys throw pump fakes like crazy, but the opponents are always falling for those pump fakes. And what was discussed as to why we think the Spurs played well without the starters was because there wasn't enough data on these other players for teams to, really draw up a game plan, against them. Especially, they didn't have a set game plan that they could be like, okay, yeah, let's get running the game off with this. This usually slows these guys down. There was no data like that on these guys. These guys are like third stringers. Mamu and Devontae, knowing that they can play, but, still coming off the third string bench, they're confident in themselves. So they're throwing these pump fakes because the opponent, they know that the opponent thinks that they can't play. So they're like, let me just throw this pump. This guy's going to jump for it because he thinks I have no game. And then they do what they did. They had good games. But yeah, like it was just so funny to see them throw so many pump fakes and the defenders just constantly falling for it. Yeah. Um, but I think it's because, yeah, the defenders just don't think that these guys can play, and boy, are they wrong. So I do see that from Mamu. Of course, I don't know if we're gonna keep Devontae Graham. I really don't think so. Like, I mean, obviously, we're probably not because we never played the guy, until we had to. So, but just shout out to Devontae. These last two games that you had were really good games. You're always an exciting player to watch for us Spurs fans. We were happy to see you get some minutes this year. I know a lot of fans were begging for it throughout the year for you to get more minutes because, well, we were just looking for anything to help. But glad that you got your shine this year, and I'm glad that us fans just gave you your moment, man. Like, I was happy to celebrate that for you, and just kudos there and shout outs. I have faith in this front office this offseason to bring some important pieces in, pieces that'll help get us to the next step that we need to get to. And I do have faith that they're going to get these guys that'll help, maybe even next year, possibly get us into the play-in tournament. However, I was thinking about that earlier, and just to get into the play-in tournament this year, we would have to double our wins. And kind of thinking about, like, if we don't get significant pieces like that, that might be a little bit hard to do next season, to double our wins. And getting, just one player, like if we got Trae Young, I don't know if I would be confident enough to say right away that, yeah, we're easily going to double our wins from this year. And I'm not even trying to knock on Trae Young at all. Has nothing to do with his game or his skill set. It's just hard. There's not that many players, like one player out there that, you could bring into your team and be like, this guy's going to double our wins right off the bat with the current team that we have. Or even a young team, you know what I mean? If we had got like LeBron James, Steph Curry, yeah, maybe even Luka. Like, those are about like three guys, and these aren't the only guys. I'm just naming three off the top of my head. That maybe, yeah, I would be like, okay, yeah, just getting these guys alone, and then the current cast that we have, I think this will help get us, double the wins. But yeah, not too many guys, So it might be a little bit tricky for us to do that and to make the play in next season. But I am glad that, Wemby has his sights set on playoffs for next year. So hopefully the front office does as well. And hopefully there are pieces out there that can help, get us there. Because, the players that we're going to draft are going to have to do their part too. And show that they can play and play at a high level and help, take us there too. Yeah. So it's on the front office to draft the right guys, and then it's on the players to play as expected. You know what I mean? And just attending the games, there's a lot of fans out there that do believe in the front office, and that the front office will do right by Wemby and by the team and by the fans, and that they will get the right pieces. A lot of fans that were in attendance just, we're not doubtful. They're very hopeful, and they do see a bright future for the organization, as do I. And as, I believe that we all should be very hopeful, even after this season. In another episode later on, we'll go over how many teams do the Spurs, have a brighter future than, how many more teams are we in a better position than in the future. So we'll be going over that in another episode, but there are several teams that we are in better position than now, and honestly, even teams that are currently like in the play-in, like the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers, are two teams that I really believe that us Spurs are in a better position in for the future, even though they're in the play-in tournament and we are not. But so much excitement for this offseason for us Spurs fans. I know we can't wait to see what happens. I think May 12th, May 16th is the NBA lottery, so we'll see where we land there. and hopefully, we'll hear about some watch parties so us fans can gather together and celebrate. And then we got the draft in June, like a lot of excitement and good things for us to look forward to. A lot of names have been thrown out there that us Spurs fans would like the Spurs to draft. So let's just see what happens. I don't think I would draft a point guard in this draft. I don't think that I would. Just the top ones they're young, and some of them did not show out in the spotlight and on the big stage. So I don't think that I would go with a point guard in this draft, but I would like to see us bring in a point guard, and obviously it would be more ideal to bring in a veteran point guard this offseason. And we absolutely need a big man. We need help on the boards. So once we get those pieces, let's see what happens. I mean, I wonder who we keep too, man. I don't know. Like, it's going to be exciting. And we're all going to be on the edge of our seats until things happen. We find out who we get, and then until the next season's rolling. Let's hear a word from our fan base on what they thought about this season, where they think the Spurs are going, and how optimistic they feel that the Spurs will go in the right direction and are going to handle this rebuild properly.
What up, Spurs fans? We are back at the Frost Bank Center for the San Antonio Spurs Detroit Pistons game, fan appreciation night. And we are here with our fan from the beginning, Patrick. Patrick, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. What's up, Brandon? Hey, it's a hell of a season. We didn't do all that great, but I had a badass time, and I really think we have a great future, man.
Yeah, man, I agree. It was fun this season, right?
Yeah.
It was a good time being here.
Yeah, it was badass,
It was definitely worth it. So like you said, the season was rough, but, do you think it was worth being a season ticket holder?
Absolutely, man. I had a blast every single night. I mean, the first, half of the season was a bit rough. I think we were trying to everybody was figuring each other out. We were young, inexperience showed. But I think, like, right after the rodeo road trip, like, right during that, like, something kicked in. And, like, from that point forward, from February forward, like, we've been competitive almost every single night. So, I mean, like I said, I think a bright future ahead. Definitely enjoyed, being a season ticket member. I renewed, so I'll be back next year.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll be back together, man.
Yeah.
Same section.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so excited for it. And, yeah, like you said, the Spurs kind of did turn things around. And it's always really that rodeo road trip that, like, brings them together, that camaraderie, right?
Yep. Historically speaking, that's been it, man. When that rodeo road trip kicks in, like they set it in another gear, and then it's like, it's nothing but, like, looking forward and executing from that point forward.
I agree. So, like, yeah, you would say, like, we saw some improvement individually and from the team this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think everybody improved. I think everybody figured each other out. I think they got comfortable. They started knowing, what to do and at what time to do it. I do think, the third and fourth quarter have been like some hard areas, though. So hopefully they can improve on that next year as well.
Yeah, it's really those. Yeah, like that third quarter, second quarter is like would just kill us.
Yep.
But what I liked, what I saw like at the end to finish off the season was that our guys just kept fighting through.
Yeah.
We're down like 4 starters to close out the season.
Yeah.
And for us to show like this toughness, this grit, and to never just give up in a fight like these remaining games.
Yep.
Like you were here for the Denver game last game.
Yep.
Like how was the atmosphere then?
Dude, it was amazing, man. We were getting our butts kicked. I think it was the second or third quarter. We were down like 10, 15, and little by little we kept clawing away, man. And that's the perseverance that I've seen that after the rodeo road trip, they really have been aggressive. So that Denver game was awesome, man. I mean, I know for us it didn't mean much other than a win, but still, man, I think that was a big statement.
Yeah.
Denver was coming, full force. I think they were the top team in the league, and we stood toe-to-toe with them, and we went down to the wire, and we won it, and it was an amazing atmosphere, dude. The stadium erupted when we hit that last shot with like 6 or 9 seconds left, dude. It was amazing. That was probably the best game of the year, honestly. It was a fun time.
I was so bummed that I couldn't be here that game. Oh my gosh! I'm glad my little cousin got to enjoy it for me. But yeah, like
there'll be many more. There'll be many more. Don't worry.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of more wins coming. But yeah, I gotta say, like even watching from home, man, you could just see how electrifying the crowd was.
Yep.
You could see how crowded the arena was.
Yep.
You know how Valley Sports does the post-game show with Sean Elliott and Dan Wise? Like, you could just see the background of that show was completely packed with Spurs fans. It was such a beautiful way to like end our season, and we're up big, 23 points at our last game of the season now. So it's just really, it's a good feeling. I think that we're closing the season out strong. I would say like it could have been way worse. I mean, going down 4 starters and to win, I don't know what we had in the last 10 games, like 5 out of 10.
We, I think we won several of the last couple of games. We've won a lot of them. So I mean, I'm glad, dude. It is like I said, like you said, with the injuries and whatnot. I mean, you know, we could have just really tanked and went downhill, but we still kept with it.
The guys had fight in them. Yeah, it was good to see.
Yeah, they stepped up.
So, what did you think of Wimby's rookie season?
I thought so. The first like 5 games, I was nervous for him, man. I was really nervous for him, and I think he was nervous himself on the court. Looked like he was a little bit kind of thrown off. I think the speculation, the media, all the hype around him, I think maybe it shook him a little bit. But I think, like, you know, little by little as the season progressed, dude, he battled with so many, like, of the greats. He battled with Jokic. He battled with Antetokounmpo or whatever that guy's name is, Giannis. I mean, and he stuck with it, dude. He stuck with it, and he battled. And I think he's made a statement. I mean, at his rookie year, dude, in my opinion, he should be winning Defensive Player of the Year. We'll see if they give it to him.
Yes.
Rookie of the Year is a shoe-in for sure, but his statistics are just, like, insane, dude, for the kid being only, 20 years old?
20 years old?
20 years old, dude. I mean, he is, like shaking the league, dude. I mean, every single game, I think, when people play him, you can watch a player on the other opposing team, like, be in awe when he does something. Whether it be a pass, a dunk, a block, like all the other teams are literally on notice. They're like, damn, this dude is for real.
Yeah, so you would say, like, you know, next year NBA has been put on notice?
Absolutely. I think there's a bright future ahead for him, for the Spurs organization. You know, I'm looking forward to, you know, every single game that I'll come to in the future for sure.
I know, and personally to you, do you think that he met your expectations or exceeded?
Exceeded. Honestly, I was thinking, well, let me say exceeded as a player. I honestly, I did get the season tickets thinking like maybe we'll get a play-in spot in the playoffs, but so that was a bit of a setback. But, you know, hey, man, if they're building, they're learning, and they'll improve in the future. You know, the Spurs mentality is not all about, you know, just like being the number 1 seed. They'll grow their players, they'll grow the organization, and they'll get better as time comes. So if that's the Spurs way, I'm all in it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that too. So just you as a Spurs fan, you have faith in this front office to build the right team, get the right pieces? How do you trust in them?
So a lot of people, like, in the past years, I would say, have, like, questioned, you know, whether Pop is clicking with you know, the young players, if he is the right fit. You know what? The Spurs are the Spurs, and they have a proven track record over the last, you know, 20-something years of how good they've been with what they do with their players. They don't buy teams. They groom teams. They build within. They get somebody that isn't 100% polished, but they see something in them, and then they build and they mold that person into a great player and a great person even. Yeah. I mean, look at all the vets in the Spurs organization. You know, we have them all around the NBA. I mean, Monty Williams, I think, is the coach of the Pistons. Right. You know, so we have so many great people that were players of the Spurs that they build and they found, they polished, and then they're great, you know, players eventually, and just people around the NBA. So I do have trust in what they're doing.
Nice.
I think it'll just take time, and I think it'll prove. I mean, let's fast forward 2-3 years. I really think we're talking, you know, obviously playoff runs and maybe something even bigger than that, man. I hope.
Yeah, I agree. I think in 2 or 3 years they might actually be a higher seed than what we actually expect them to be in the playoffs. So that's incredible. And so I'm glad you said that. And this is a different situation. Like, the Spurs have never had to rebuild before. We've never started from a rebuild.
True.
And I know there's a lot of fans that believe in the front office. There's a lot of fans that are doubtful because we've never been in this situation. But I would say it's fair because we've never been in this situation to give the front office more than 1 year to like work on a rebuild, right? Wouldn't that be fair?
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think you can it all done in 1 year where you just turn around and make an instant playoff run or something. So, you know, let's look forward to next year. I'm hoping next year. I'm hoping a play-in spot is maybe what will be in that area, somewhere around the 8th, 9th, 10th seed to do a play-in in the play-in tournament. But that if they do better, amazing. But that's what I'm hoping that they can set their goal for next year. At least aim for that, if not more.
Yeah, I agree too, and I think they will too. I think they'll make moves. I know Brian Windhorst went out there publicly after talking to Brian Wright. He said that Spurs were probably not going to make any significant moves this offseason away from the 2025 draft. But I don't know if I really buy that because, like, at first he said that, okay, Spurs aren't looking to wait much longer. They're looking to make moves. Yeah. He said that a couple months ago or last month, and now all of a sudden, he's saying kind of the opposite. So I don't know. I don't think I really believe the Spurs are going to be super patient where it's going to take them too long. But I think that they'll make the moves at the right time, and we'll definitely get the right pieces for sure.
Sure.
Just obviously besides Wimby, who do you want to see back next year, in the starting lineup? Because I need them back.
So obviously there's Wimby, right? I think right now, I'll be honest, as much as I like Devin Vassell, KJ, Sohan, I think, if you ask me, I do think that maybe a one, if not a couple of them, may be on the trading block to make, some kind of offseason move.
Okay.
But if they keep all of those people I just mentioned, that's amazing because they are true players. They're great players and they're a great fit, but I think a few things do have to change, though. So, we'll see exactly who they keep. We'll see exactly who they keep, and I'm sure we'll do fine with whatever decisions they make.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I definitely want to see Devin back, Sohan back. I would like to think that if we did get a big, I would like us to maybe slide Sohan down at the 3 spot, and see what he can do from there. So he gives us size at that position. But no, I definitely think Spurs have a bright future. And honestly, off the top of your head, are there a couple of teams that you can name that you're like, we're definitely in a better position than they are right now?
Yeah, there's it's a competitive league, dude, and the league's changed. It's a different type of ball. Because I grew up with the 2000 Spurs, right, where they were making a playoff run every single game. I remember in the mid 2000s, late 2007, 8, 9, I remember games being in the 60s, that was a final score. They were not high scoring games. It was all about defense. So I'm just hoping that maybe we can. We're never going to get back to that. I don't think anytime soon. But I just think they need to focus a bit on defense. I think, and I think if they do that, I think they have obviously some of the offensive pieces. They are still missing, in my opinion, a point guard. I think Trey Jones did amazing when he stepped up and he took over the point position. But I do think that maybe that's another area where they could maybe explore and try to get an experienced point guard or just somebody that they can build or groom into being that person that kind of connects it all. But if they're better or worse than any other team in the league, I think time will tell over the next season or two. I think they obviously are going to move up. I don't think next year we will obviously be in this standings position that we're in right now. I think we'll be better next year. So again, looking forward to it. Just looking forward to coming and enjoying all these games, man. They're awesome.
Yeah, man, awesome. Well, Patrick, again, we want to appreciate you being on GSG Nation with us, man. Sure. You've been riding and dying with us all season long, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get next season started, and a lot of excitement to come this off season for us as Spurs fans. So before we sign off today, can I get a Go Spurs Go?
Absolutely, man. Go Spurs Go. We'll see y'all next year. Thanks.
All right. Thank you to all the fans that joined us this season on our GSG Nation episodes. Much appreciated. Much love to you. I really hope we get to get you back in the future on future seasons on these episodes, and just I hope we get to enjoy many, many more Spurs wins together. I hope to see you guys, all of y'all, back at the Frostbank Center next season. We will be back next season in the same section, section 125, bringing you more interviews from fans. And hopefully next season we get much, much more fan involvement. During this off season, let's catch up. I'll be around San Antonio. I live here. So you'll see me around, and hopefully we can get you on episodes this offseason and talk some Spurs. I would love to get each and every single one of you on these episodes with us and get your Spurs fan voice out there and just get your opinion on the team out there, and let's just talk some Spurs and celebrate our team together. We got a bright future ahead of us, a lot of wins that we're going to celebrate soon. Man, I mean, I'm telling you, soon this city's it's gonna be different, and it's gonna be different because there's just different infrastructure and places that we're gonna be able to go, have watch parties and celebrate. But it's also gonna have that old feeling again of just having that camaraderie, having that single goal, which is rooting and cheering for our Spurs. Just you guys remember like just the seasons where we were just winning and winning and winning, the Big Three era, and it was Spurs Day, and we all had just one common goal. We're gonna wake up, we're gonna take the day, we're gonna survive work, and then we're gonna get to the point to where we can just all get together and watch the Spurs play. Like, it's gonna be crazy like that one day. I'm sure watch parties are gonna be popping up all over the place. I hope to catch you at the Rock at La Cantera, especially next season. When we're not in attendance at games, I would love to go there, watch some Spurs games with y'all, and just get some more fan involvement on these episodes. So this is all just, about us and just us talking Spurs and just getting our opinions out there. And instead of letting the mainstream media write the narrative of our team, let's go ahead and do that on our own, and let's do it together. So be sure to keep up with GSG Nation on X at GSG Nation Talk, on Instagram and TikTok at GSG Nation, and GSG Nation on YouTube. I will see you around this summer, folks. Take care, Spurs fans. Have a good one. And as always, go Spurs, go!